guys, welcome back to Libation and Vibration.
Oh.
This is Gabrielle's first time on the podcast, clearly.
Okay.
This is Gabrielle Watson, as we established. She will be my host today, my co-host today, or we're just going to be, bombarding her with conversation. But yes, say hi to Gabrielle.
Hi, guys.
Introduce yourself, Gabrielle. Who are you? What do you do?
Man, so I was thinking about that. I don't know if you've seen that meme with the little African girl.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
And then, this guy asked her, what do you do for a living? And she's like, what do I do? like, I'm a hustler. Only my sister understands. People ask me what I do for a living. I'm just like, I don't even know how to approach the question or answer it. By trade, I'm a trained attorney. So I did that for 15 years. I segued away from that. I became a business owner. I don't know if you knew that.
No.
So I moved up here for a business opportunity.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I was an Amazon delivery service provider. So up here in Hudson Valley, I had a whole fleet of Amazon delivery vehicles that operated 7 days a week. I had anywhere from 60 drivers at any point in time that delivered all over the Hudson Valley.
Wow.
Yeah. So I did that for a couple of years. Now I have an opportunity to go back to painting, which is really my passion and my full-time pursuit. So it's just been a long, long journey, working very, very hard to finally get to this point where I can do what I want to do.
All right. So jack of all trades.
Yeah, everything.
Yes.
Everything. And then I got the real estate investment
right.
and the I guess being a landlord and having Airbnbs and all that still going on. So it's always a lot.
Okay, so long story short, the reason why I know Gabrielle is because she was my former landlord.
Yeah.
She was my former landlord before we moved. She was an amazing landlord.
Thank you. You were an amazing tenant.
I thank you.
I'm not just saying that either. I'm really not. I know when we first met, it was so funny because Kayla has a very strong personality.
Yes.
And I also have a very strong personality. So we bumped heads initially, but then very soon thereafter, it was a mutual respect, I think, that naturally started to occur. And it's Kayla, you're a really solid individual.
Thank you.
And you're an amazing tenant.
Thank you.
Kayla would call me, here's the problem. Here is a link to Amazon to solve the problem. I'm going to solve it myself. Just ship me these materials, which is incredible. Other people are calling me can you change this light bulb? And just dumb things.
No, I know.
Yeah, so I miss you. When I get those calls, I'm just why couldn't it be more like Kayla?
She would have never did this to me.
No, just leave me alone. Just tell me where I need to send the materials so you can fix your own problem. It was incredible. So I appreciate it. I really do.
Of course. Listen, as business owners, we know how things go.
Yeah.
So it just makes things easier. I think that's what it was, is the mutual respect came from understanding that you're a business owner and, you're getting your not just your business, but your life in order. And we both have to respect, one another's hustle. So I think that's where, for me, I was all right, Kayla, you see what she's doing. You see who she is. Respect it. And I think what made it hard for me, and I think this is for most people, is when change comes, is am I supposed to really accept this?
Yeah.
Do I want to accept this?
Yeah.
No, I don't want to accept this. And it's all right, but you have no choice to accept it.
Yeah. And then even though both of us we can be tough at times, there was always an integrity. And I recognize that in you. And I think you recognize that in me. And it's all right, because that I knew you weren't coming from a bad place at all. You were never coming from a bad place. So it was always let me take the extra time to understand her perspective. And then let's try to find that solution in the middle.
Right.
That works for both of us.
Yes.
And it was a beautiful landlord-tenant relationship.
It was.
It was great.
It was.
It was great.
I will say I miss it.
Yeah.
I love my new place, but I miss it.
I just heard about your new place and I'm scoot over, I'm moving in. She moving on up the Jeffersons.
I'm saying, sometimes you gotta wiggle a little bit. I libation of choice. What are you having today?
Chamomile and almond milk. Because I'm trying to cut down on sugar.
I feel that.
And then I'm always trying to hydrate.
Okay.
So.
But you're gonna get sleepy.
Oh, never.
Chamomile?
Yeah, no.
It gets me every time. Well, I'm having a chai latte. What'd you get me?
Good?
Almond milk or
almond milk?
cheers to that. Thank you for that. This is from Betty Snack Bar on Liberty Street in Newburgh. Okay, so we're gonna get deep and dive into it. All right, so what made you stop being an attorney? We're gonna dive right into it. 15 years cut off. Why?
Well, for me, it was always a job.
Okay.
It wasn't a passion. It was just like, this is what I do to make money. It was no different than being a hairdresser or a waitress or whatever. So when another opportunity presented itself that was more lucrative, there was no ego associated with being an attorney. Like, I know that's a flex for some people. Like, oh, yeah. Like, there was none of that. It was just like, more money over here. All right, I'm gonna go in this direction, and that's it.
Okay. I mean, it's understandable. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like I'm an attorney sometimes, but all the shows that I watch, Suits, and, you know, but it seems like it's always a power play that's always being put on, or just take versus trying to find not just solutions, but like pour back into others. And it gets very draining. Do I have that correct? What,
practicing law?
Yes.
Yes. I mean, the way that you're approaching it makes it sound a lot more glamorous than it is. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, it's so draining, like saving lives every day. Like, no, those weren't the type of cases that I was working on or the type of work that I was doing. It was just mind-numbingly boring, the vast majority of it.
Okay.
So I'm in there just reviewing documents all day. I always work between like 60 to 80 hours a week. So I'm working like 6 days a week minimum. And I did that for a year. So it was draining, but it was just like, this is just boring the hell out of me.
Gotcha.
It became more interesting. Like during the end of that, I did start to put together my own practice. And I have my own clients.
Nice.
And that was great because I was working with people like you. I was working with influencers, models, athletes, and helping them with their small business problems. And that was super rewarding because you got to see their development and their growth. And then also there was creativity involved with the contracts and stuff.
Right.
But that was just the tail end of my legal career. So the vast majority of it was just mind-numbingly like, just shoot me, please. Just take me out of my misery.
Said I'm done. I'm over it.
Yeah.
Kapoots. Gotcha. So what kind of sparked it for you to then transition into now being this person that it has, you know, a fleet of drivers and trucks? Like,
it was just the opportunity. I was ready to go.
Yeah.
I think it was the allure of more money, and it was just exciting. It was something entirely different. Entirely different. I think after a certain point, I was tired of using like the legal part of my brain or thinking in that particular way. And I think that guides me a lot also. It's like, I don't know if people really think about every day how you use your brain.
Yes.
Right? So lawyers use their brain in a different way than like a doctor might or like a detective might. I was just exhausted with using my mind in that particular way. And something like the Amazon opportunity, it was a lot more hands-on. I'm dealing with a different type of person. Like, I'm dealing with drivers now. Most of them are like super young as opposed to, you know, the stuffy attorney that might be sitting next to me. So it was just like, everything was just like fresh and new, and I'm ready to tackle new problems.
Got you. So in a sense, like a new work environment for you.
Yeah, 1,000%. I went from wearing like heels and pencil skirts to, you know, wearing sweats in the warehouse. Like, it was just entirely
I'm cool, comfy.
Yeah.
And I run this.
Yeah. So it was fun. Was it fun? It was, I wouldn't say fun.
Was it?
It was entirely different. Fun?
Okay. Yes.
That's probably the most stressful thing I've ever done in my life.
Why?
Because it was just nonstop. Like, they're delivering packages 7 days a week. The problems that they encounter when they were out there on the roads, like during the winter, you're contending with the ice. And, you know, my van got stuck in this driveway that's half a mile long. And like, come spring is dog bite season. And it's not a question of like, oh, or an issue of like, I hope no one gets bit by a dog. It's like, how many people are going to get bit by a dog and how many? So there's a liability also that ties into that. Wow. And your workers' comp. It was just like, it was just stressful. Nonstop stress all the time. Then you have the accidents. People are treating your vehicles like bumper cars. It's not their car. You know, like, it's not theirs. So why not?
Yeah.
So it was insane. It was super, super stressful.
Okay. But how long did that last?
That was 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
She said, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm complete.
So stressful.
So then, where did the love of art come from?
I mean, that was always there. since I was a little kid. I always wanted to be an artist. I have a crazy story. So when I was in high school, I was a little bit of a rebel.
I believe it.
But super smart at the same time. And all my friends were in the same category. Like, we were all honor roll students, but we were just like bad at the same time. They didn't know what to do with us. So one time I got in trouble, and I'm waiting in my assistant principal's office, waiting for him to come in and like reprimand me in some kind of a way. And he had this huge like pile on his desk. So I'm just like, I'm gonna go through, because we used to rummage through his file cabinet and like purge our records straight up, right? So I was like, I'm just gonna go through
this
stuff on his
is a
desk
former lawyer
while I'm waiting. So I'm going through his stuff, and then all of a sudden I see these little boxes on his desk, and they had the name. It was like Kodak was on the side of them. You're probably so young, you don't even know what I'm about to say.
Don't do that to me.
You are so young. But I opened up the lid. I'm like, this looks familiar. I opened up the lid on one of these boxes, and it was a box of slides that I used to put in a slide projector with the carousel. So I'm like, what is this? I look it up. I mean, like, I hold it up to the light, and these are my art portfolios that never went out with my applications to all the art schools that I applied to. So at the time, I just wanted to go to art school. I wanted to go to art school. That was it. I was going to art school. And then I filled out like a generic SUNY application. Do you remember those? You could like apply to like 6 different SUNY schools at the same time. Yeah, same thing.
You can still do that.
So when I was in his office, it was like spring. Applications to do at the top of the year.
Yes.
So I was just done off. Like, I didn't send out a single complete application to an art school at all. I was done. So I'm like devastated.
Oh my God.
Devastated. Had to end up relying on the fallback plan, which was to go to a SUNY, like that generic thing. I was like, all right, like whatever, let me just go to Albany. And I went to Albany, but that changed the trajectory of my life. I was like, I'm not studying art in like in a regular non-art art school. So from there, I studied something entirely different. I like double majored in poli-sci and art history, but I wasn't creating anything. I was just like learning about art. And then I did like an intern on the Hill. And then I came back and I was like working on different campaigns, political campaigns. And I decided to go to law school. And then that's how that happened. And it wasn't, excuse me, it wasn't until I was in law school that I got so far away from art that it kind of like springboarded me back, where I was like, something is really just missing from my life. And
that little missing,
you know, like I'm not happy. So that's when I started to paint again, when I was in law school. But by that point, you know, I'm like $150,000 in debt. Yeah. Yeah. So like I said, like the law thing was always a job. It's like I have to work in order to pay off this debt. So I'm trying to like paint on the side and during the weekends, but then getting burnt out because I can't work my 60 to 80 hours a week and then make time for my passion.
Yeah, so getting overwhelmed, but trying to make time for the passion and then just falling back and then feeling like you got to put something on the back burner.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was just a cycle of work, burnout, work, burnout. And I'm finally, like, within the last 2 years, I'm finally at a place where, you know.
You better than me. Because let me call my mama real quick.
To do what? Oh, for the thing?
Yeah. What did your mama do?
I mean, my parents, I love them to death. At that point in time, they were very hands-off. Gotcha. And a lot of that was because like my grades were so good.
They didn't feel like they had to be.
Yeah. And I was the middle child. So they just didn't worry about me. Yes. So they like stopped parenting me very, very early. Probably like
you were independent enough to.
I was extremely, I mean, just the way they raised me was like weird because they were like super, super religious, like very, very Christian. But then there's certain aspects where they gave me all the freedom in the world. Like I remember being in junior high and like I acted more mature just so that I could do what I wanted to. So I knew that if I'd asked my mom the question, like, don't frame it as a question. Right. So one time, instead of asking her, like, Mom, in the 7th, 8th grade, can I go to the city? And we lived in Long Island. I was like, Mom, like, how do I get to Chinatown? And then she was like, oh, well, you know, you take the Long Island Railroad and then you get off in Penn Station and you ask a policeman, like, how you make it from Penn Station to Chinatown. And I was like,
okay,
cool, thanks. All right, I'll see you later. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that was like,
oh my gosh.
That was her permission. And then I would just go off and have this epic adventure at that age.
I can't say too much because as a city kid, like, my mom would be like, yeah, meet me in so-and-so place. And I'm like, all right. So you leave, you leave in Greenwich Village, and then you stop in that one store. Next thing you know, you in Soho. And then next thing you know, you on Broadway. And then my mom's like, where you at? And I'm like, oh.
Everywhere.
I forgot I was supposed to meet you on, 56th Street. Like, I understand that. I get that.
And then you're significantly younger than I am. But at that time, in my age, like, we just had so much more freedom than you guys or this new generation will ever have.
Gabrielle, I'm not talking about. How old do you think I am?
You 27-ish?
I love the ish, and I love the gas.
Right.
I will be 30 this year.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, see, I was right.
Okay, but I'm not that far off of you.
I'm going to be 43.
13 years?
13 years. See, I couldn't even do that math. I was like, yeah.
13 years. It's not a long time.
I'm close to your mom in age.
You are 6 years off.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I'm closer to your mom in age than I am to
But you are my sister's age.
You have a sister?
We ain't gonna talk about that.
Okay. Getting so sidetracked. But yeah, like my generation, we just had a lot more freedom.
But so did mine. It's I think like
it's a city thing.
It's a city thing.
Yeah.
When you were like, and even though you guys lived in Long Island, you were still very close to the city. So it's like, if you lived in Long Island, Staten Island, or even Westchester, there is.
Well, I was born in Queens, and so
there's a characteristic about you where you're kind of built to be independent.
Yeah,
you're built to kind of figure it out. Because if not, then that's on you.
Yeah,
in a sense,
you gotta look out for yourself.
You have to. We lived in a city where you had to look out for yourself regardless, and this is like everything, pre-pandemic, 9/11. This is. You had to be that type of person in order for you to survive, because your parents didn't just go, okay, we want you to be independent. It was like, girl, I'm not going to be there all the time. Like, what happens if I miss that bus or miss that train? You stuck there. You have to figure it out. So it's like, we had to be in that era of like, you got it. And if you don't got it, there's a police officer.
Exactly. And that was the advice that parents would like ask don't ask an adult, but ask like an adult who was presumably trustworthy. Yes. Like, go find a police officer, maybe go find a grandma, elderly woman. Like,
my mother would tell me that all the time. She would be like, ask a black police officer.
Yeah, a black one. You gotta qualify. Like, let me get real specific. You gotta ask
a black police officer or ask somebody's Spanish grandmother.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they'll take care of you.
Abuela got you.
Yeah. Abuela got you. That is so funny. But to circle back, so like at that time, this is like 6 years later when I'm taking my solo trips to the city. Like, I'm an adult. This is my last year in the house. So my college applications, like, I handled all of that up until then. I don't even know if I completely conveyed what had happened or whatever. It was just, I feel like it was a very different world. Like, kids had their own worlds, and then the adults had their own worlds. Yes. And there weren't, or at least me growing up, like, I didn't necessarily have those bridges to even communicate that at the time.
I think that it's not, you're absolutely right. That adults have their own world, and as children we
that's
had
not
our
everyone
world, but it's not everyone. Unfortunately, Black families deal with that the most. Because our parents are not, once again, just teaching us how to be independent, but they have to work these long hours or these extensive jobs because they have to provide a little bit more than the next one. So I understand,
and they're trying to protect us at the same time. So it's not like, our mom's favorite thing to say was, I'm not your little friend. I'm not your little friend.
I'm not one of your little friends. I bet she your little friend now, she my little friend now.
She's my best friend. Like,
exactly.
But so there wasn't, that communication was lacking in that way. So
it unfortunately, it was just, it's something that they knew. And it just kept going on generation to generation. And it's not that they did anything wrong. It's something that's honestly something that I'm learning now. It's not that they did anything wrong, but how they express their love, how they express their care was from what they already learned.
And they were trying to protect us.
Yeah.
Everything was, I'm going to beat you so that you get out there in the street and this policeman doesn't beat you.
Right. Don't be out there acting crazy, making you look a fool.
Yeah.
Like I didn't teach you no home training or any manners.
Yeah. Yeah. So I get it.
Yeah. I understand. So the transition of art came from now not having to be excessively pulled in one direction because of law. So now, how do you feel now being able to go back to it, being able to be passionate about something that was your very first love?
I mean, it feels amazing, and I'm in a better place financially to approach it. Like, had I been on that path at that time, I could have been a broke, struggling artist.
Yeah.
Now I'm not broke or struggling. I'm just able to pursue my passions without that stress. And I think because it was such a long journey to get back to this place, like I have appreciation for it on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Whereas I wouldn't. Every day I'm just like, wow, I'm so grateful. I'm so blessed just to be able to sit here and do this with my time.
Yeah.
And that's always how I defined success. It was not by how much money I had, but success to me is the ability to wake up every day and just be like, what do I want to do? And just do what you want to do. Like, that is freedom.
That is freedom.
Freedom. And freedom is success.
It is.
Like, people conflate the two, but it's really money that affords you the freedom.
Yep.
So, and time is my currency. Yes. Not money, it's time. And that's what money does. Money can buy you time. But it's really, it's not about like, let me stack this money. It's like, this money can buy me this time, which buys me this freedom.
Yes.
Yeah, so there are different manifestations like that.
Absolutely.
Different manifestations of that. And it also depends on like what type of way you live your life. Like, I make sacrifices so that I can live the way that I want to live.
What are you sacrificing?
Like, I could have still been in the city paying higher rent. It's like I'm up in Newburgh so that, I have a situation where I can afford to live the way that I want to live. Or I drive a 2016 Nissan Rogue. You know what I mean?
I mean, that baby be bumping.
It goes. It gets me from point A to point B. Like, I pull up places and, it is what it is. It's a very humble car. But that humble car allows me to sit at home and wake up and be like, Gab, what do you want to do today? Right. How do you want to spend your time? I don't have to go to a job and be a slave to someone. So, like, those are the little trade-offs that I'm making. And it's not really sacrifice. It's more like a trade-off because I'd make that choice a million times over. What
made you want to be an Airbnb host here in Newburgh, out of all places?
Well, I'm an artist. So I love to design and create spaces. I love to make a space beautiful. And then once I do that, I feel like it's over. So you can be in your own space and you have an opportunity to do that like once every couple of years or so, or I don't know. But by having Airbnbs, it's like I have the opportunity to do that multiple times and to create different living experiences in different places. And it's literally the easiest money you'll ever make because you just set it up and that's it. Like, you set it up and you're literally sleeping and somebody else is sleeping in your space and that money is coming in.
Yeah.
So you're not doing anything. And it's
how
great.
Do you feel now with, especially here in Newburgh, there's a lot of stuff going on with the gentrification and people, like, how do you feel about that, knowing that you came in here, you're disclaimer, she does own the building. She's not just going out and renting spaces. She actually owns the building. And she also owns the building that I lived in. But with people feeling about gentrification in this very dominant, like, Newburgh is not the absolute best place to live. But it's because of all the corrupt stuff that's going on and poverty levels rising. Like, how do you feel knowing that you came in and you did that?
I did what?
Came in, bought up space, bought up multiple spaces, and in a sense, kind of adding to gentrification, because that's what people are thinking about Airbnbs. They're like, it's adding to gentrification.
When I moved into this building had been unoccupied for over 10 years. So we have the vacancy rate or the vacancy study where they go around, they tally,
right,
me, like how many vacant properties are in the city. So I came in here and brought it up to a standard where it was livable again, because it wasn't livable. So now I've contributed 3 different units, because there are 3 units in this place that people couldn't live in at all before. Right. So that's 1. 2, I have a mix, and I would always have a mix. And we've discussed this before in terms of having a business plan. I like the diversity in that, like, come this time, we're in this place right now because Airbnb is completely dead in the middle of January, February. So I'm not making any money. So I need to have that like, I need to have that balance of tenants who are paying rent monthly to balance that out. That's 2. 3rd, gentrification. Technically, the technical definition of gentrification, it's not a, what am I trying to say? It's not a race thing.
No, it's
even though it's usually minorities who are disproportionately affected by gentrification. It's a financial thing. So the problem that you have in a lot of areas is you have white people moving into a minority area, and these white people are building, they come in and they're building their own hair salon, their own barbershops. The people who are in that community, like me and you, we would never go there because they can't service us in this way. So they're building establishments and businesses that cater to them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I come to Newburgh, I'm going to the beauty supply spot. I'm going to the jerk chicken spot. I'm going to, you laughing, but it's true.
I know. So, the reason why I asked you is because I wanted you to clarify. I know what it means.
Yeah.
But I feel like some people need to hear it, that it's not just a race thing.
No, it's not. It's a financial thing.
It's a financial thing.
And when they come in, it's like they're still segregating their money.
Right.
I'm coming in with money, and I'm pouring back into the establishments that are already here. So I'm eating the jerk chicken. I'm going to the beauty supply spot. There's going to be a place on Liberty that's opening up next month that I'm very excited about. It's vegan soul food.
Are you?
Exactly.
As soon as I leave.
Right?
As soon as I leave.
They're opening March. Vegan soul food. So I'm on this group chat in my neighborhood with all the other people in the neighborhood. A lot of the people who live here are white. A lot of the homeowners.
Yes.
And, like, I love that group. So anytime anything pops up, like, we're talking about it. So somebody's like, oh, this is opening. And then somebody else, this another white resident of Newburgh, he was like, oh, that's so niche. Like, I hope that they do well because it's such a niche thing.
There's so many vegans up here, and we've
complained. It's not even vegans. It's like, this is a black city. But he's not, because he navigates the city as a white person, and he's going to his white establishments, and he has his white friends. So he's like, oh, that's so niche, thinking from his white mind. And I'm like, this is a black city. Yes. Like, this is not niche. This is not niche. Like, what do you?
Not.
But that just goes to the divide, like, in that mindset and where money is going.
Right.
So again, I don't feel bad about gentrification. Besides which, like, I'm the manifestation of my ancestors' dream. You know what I'm saying? Like, I came from the hood. And we're all like 1 or 2 generations away from the hood. I was born and raised in South Jamaica, Queens, and my parents were fortunate enough to move out to Long Island, and that was like moving on up for them.
Right.
But I came from that. So I also don't embody the guilt that white people do at the same time. Like, I'm not completely a pull yourself up by your bootstrap person, because I understand that everyone came up in different circumstances, and some of those are insurmountable for some people. But, I'm like a mix of both things. Gotcha. Like, I'm empathetic, but at the same time, like, how can we get this together? Right. Like, let's get it together.
Okay, so we go into this new vegan spot, right?
Yeah. Okay. I'm so excited.
You're gonna test me when it opens, right?
Yeah. Okay, 1,000%. Like, I'm so excited.
You know what's funny?
Niche.
Before we moved, I was like, I've been vegan February 1st.
Oh, really?
Will mark 5 years.
Oh.
So.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know that.
I've
been cooking myself. So when new restaurants open, the first thing I do is like, what are your vegan options? You have none? I'm not going. Or not that I'm not going, but like normally you'll have something that can remove like whatever it is. But like I was saying, like, it sucks that there was no actual vegan spot. There was none. And I was like, this sucks, because if I really wanted vegan food, I would have to go to Beacon, or, I would have to go close to the city or Portchester. And it's like, damn. So you telling me they opening up a spot after I leave? That is insane. But I'm excited. That's exciting.
It's very exciting. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
I'm sorry.
I get to come back and pour back. But the good thing is, you're telling me this, and this is what's also good about community, is that you're telling me this, and I get to, every time I come back up here, I get to come back and pour back into my community.
And support. Yeah, definitely. I wish him the best of luck.
Absolutely.
Restaurant.
It's hard.
It's
hard. If you survive your first 2 years, amazing. If you survive that first year, miracle. After, I think it's like 3 or 4 years, if you get past that broken point, you're golden. So I really hope they take off.
I'm gonna do my part.
Yep.
You have to roll me back down to my house.
Like, don't worry about me. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's great though. I'm happy. So, question. All right. Do you have any future? Wait, first of all, how is it being an entrepreneur with your mom?
Oh.
Yeah.
Did we discuss this?
No.
Oh, I mean, it's great. So recently we almost bought a house, another one to flip.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it ended up
here?
Yeah, Newburgh. I mean, what do you mean? What's the question? How is it being?
Yeah, an entrepreneur. Like, how is it? Let me not say the entrepreneur. How is it working with your mom?
She's crazy, you know. Like,
point blank period. Okay,
but she's great. I mean, like, I love mom. She's such an inspiration to me. She's so creative. I feel like I'm the 2.0 version of her. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm just the next version
of her. Yes,
of her. But
I feel
I
that
love
completely.
Her tremendously. I mean, we have our quirks. Like, I say we're good for 72 hours.
Oh, and then
that 73rd is like, it's time for everybody to go home.
Everybody
to go home.
I love you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, everybody needs to go home. But she is like such an inspiration. Nice. She really is.
So when you came to visit the space the second time, right? My space the second time.
Oh, before I purchased
Before you purchased it, you brought your mom.
Oh, and I was wondering. I'm like, why is she asking about my mother?
I'm watching on the camera because I already knew that you and your mom went in together. You had told me prior too.
Yeah, both of these are mine. My mom also, she flips houses downstate. Oh. And that's what she does for a living. Yeah.
Oh, is that why she came with you when you went to come see the spaces?
Yeah, because she's like a professional. She's like an expert in terms of houses.
Okay, mom.
That's what I'm saying. But I was like, why would she ask me about that? Because we've never done any projects together really. Like, she helped me on this house before I moved into it.
Okay.
But we were like going in on an official venture for one house.
Oh, I thought you guys did it together. I knew you were doing it. No. Like, I honestly, I thought it was 70-30, like you and her.
No.
Okay,
this is all
100% me. Okay,
these two are all me.
Got you. Well, I was watching you guys on the camera. Your mom was like, "Yeah, no, there's faulty lines." I was like, "She's catching it."
That's why she knows. Like, she knows her stuff.
She was catching it. Like, I was like, "Okay, like this woman knows her. She knows her stuff."
So thorough, and when she was doing it like routinely downstate, she had a whole crew of men that she'll come in there and command. And like, contractors are the worst.
Oh, I know.
They are the most mansplaining. Like, oh, well, you need a screwdriver. I was like, oh, I needed a screwdriver for the screw? Like,
what do I need? A Phillips head or a flathead? Yeah, and then they looking at you like, what? Like,
but she just like command. She'll be down there doing demolition with them. I'm like, Mom, like, settle down. She said, no, you got to work hard to show them how hard they have to work. Like, you're like 70 something.
If
like,
I could do it, you could do it. That's what she said.
Like, have a seat. But they have the utmost respect for her. And she really like just knows. She knows what she's talking about.
I love that.
So yeah, she's such an inspiration. Like,
okay. She get her flowers. All right. Yeah. Do you have any showcases for your art coming up soon? Or
no, I was waiting for the time. So you guys don't know because she didn't tell you, but Kayla posed for me. Right?
Yes.
Hold, please.
Not the hold, please.
Hold, please.
Gabrielle, what are you grabbing?
I finished it.
It's the fact that you hit it in my
hit it. This is the official unveiling.
Official unveiling. Okay.
You're not going to believe it. You're not going to believe it. Look at it. Look at it.
Gabby, oh my God.
Yeah.
Stop, I'm gonna cry. This is beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty impressed myself. To be quite honest. pull this one out.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Let me show the people.
Yeah. Is it?
You got every detail.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The chain,
Yeah.
oh my. Wow, Gabrielle.
Wow. Yeah. That's crazy.
You need a showcase. We need to get you in a gallery. This is.
So I'm working on it. Like I'm gonna take this year, probably next year, just to build a body of work.
Yeah. We're gonna leave that right there.
And just mark it and see where it goes.
Oh my God. Please.
Yeah.
So the way I found out that Gabrielle was an artist is in the cheesecake, Hudson Valley Cheesecake, a little shop that was across the street from my house. I walk in there to go get my mom some cheesecake. And I turn around and I see this lovely painting. And I'm like, wow, this is beautiful. So much texture, so much color, so much, line work. And then I look at the name and I'm like,
I know this.
there's no way Gabrielle did this. I'm like, and I look at my boyfriend, I look at Steve and I'm like, I think Gabrielle painted this. And he goes, what makes you think? I'm like, did you see the name? And he's like, what? So I'm like, instantly was like, there's no way that my landlord is a freaking painter. Like, I was like, I was in awe of it.
Thank you.
In awe. And now to see this, I'm like, my mother is going to beg you for this.
Yeah, it's crazy.
This is beautiful.
Thank you.
So yes, we are praying that she gets a showcase or something soon.
Yeah, I'm working on it. I gotta do the work. You gotta do the work first. I gotta do the work.
You do. So you can present it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And the funny part is I knew you caught the detail because the first place I also looked was over here because I got cupping done the day before.
No, it was like a big one over here. Yeah, I wasn't gonna paint that in. Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I got cupping done. I hope she doesn't put that in there.
No.
It's like, wow.
Yeah. But thank you so much. You were just so naturally comfortable. It was the easiest shoot that I've ever done in terms of just shooting.
Yeah.
Because I'm so awkward in front of the camera.
So am I. That's why when he was like, you're killing this. I was like,
not
what do you want me to do?
I can show you some pictures.
This is beautiful. Thank you.
I was waiting. I'm going to post it on Instagram now.
I can't wait to take a freaking picture of it.
Yeah. I'll send you a good picture.
Guys, I'm going to be in the gallery. So my question to you now is, how does society contribute, today's society, how does it contribute to your creativity?
I mean, I paint people. I'm inspired by people.
Right.
So that's just people.
Yeah, you just feel just people. You have to gravitate towards people versus.
Yeah, and then most of the people that I paint, I have some sort of a relationship with, so I know them, and I think that's why my work really stands out. Is I'm able to capture the true essence of who they are.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because I know their personality.
Yeah.
So it's even when I came in, I was like, all right, Kayla, what we're gonna do. I'm like, do you have a fitted? And you're like, check.
It's don't worry about it. I got you.
You're like, check, I got this. And I feel like this is kind of your personality.
It is.
A side of you. And I feel like that's also maybe why you felt so comfortable during the shoot. It's just all right, I just try to capture people just being themselves.
And at that,
so that they shine through.
It's only been my fourth shoot
that
I've ever done.
It was really good.
And this is my first time shooting to be painted.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, I don't know how this is gonna come out. But what I thought was gonna happen, how I thought you was gonna paint was how you painted the other one. So I was like, oh, I'm interested to see how this is
and that's what I was saying. That was more abstracted.
Yeah.
And then now I'm kind of doing this more realistic thing.
I love it.
I think I might pull it back a little because this is super
realistic.
People will come and be like, oh, I thought that was a photo.
Gabrielle, I thought it was a photo.
And it's I don't want photography is its own beautiful art form.
Yeah.
Why am I painting to imitate photography almost. You know what I mean? Like the thing that we love about homemade or handmade things is that you can see the person's hand in them. So
the difference,
you know, and then I feel like it's almost like a spiritual thing where if I'm not painting, like this is aiming for perfection almost, or aiming for it.
It is perfection.
Thank you. I mean, clearly, right? But you know, I just want to embrace my mistakes and just put it all out there. So there's like almost vulnerability within the brushstrokes as opposed to shooting for something like this. So
I love that vulnerability within the brushstrokes.
Yeah, I want to be able to see that.
That's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
You did the damn girl.
You did that. Thank you. I'll take it.
Okay, so I know you're a gym girly. Moving a little bit closer to me. We'll move her over.
Okay.
I know you're a gym girly, right? How does your fitness, your wellness play into your everyday life?
I mean, that's just everything.
Yeah.
I've actually been on a break for like a month or two because I had some issues, like back and neck issues. But before, like 5-6 days a week, I'm in the gym. And it's mostly about your brain and how that affects your brain. Like you could be on that treadmill feeling like you're going to die. And in your mind, you're like, all right, like if I hit this 6 mile, like I can conquer everything. Yeah. And then you bring that into every other aspect of your life. It's like you just adopt that mentality. And then, I mean, my favorite part is like the drugs are just flowing into you.
Your own drugs.
I'm like a drug addict. You know, like I walk out the gym and I'm just like on floating. I'm like levitating to my car. And like that happy juice, like when I first stopped working out because I had to, it like you can feel the difference. Like I'm not getting my drugs anymore.
Your endorphins aren't there
like,
anymore.
Yo, like I'm a little sad. Like why am I a little down?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I didn't have my fix today. That's legit what it is. It's a fix with no hangover. And it is.
It's a good way to put it. It's just the way you say it.
It's true, though. That's what it is. It's like, I didn't get my fix today. I mean, yeah. So, no, like, I'm missing it. And then, like, you just get into routine where you're just disciplined. Like, you just, it's nothing.
It's like that starts. So I know you're a morning girly, right? So for me, I know it starts my day off with discipline. Yeah. And it flows into the rest of your day. Yeah. Because if you have this one structure, this one routine, then you have routine here, routine there, routine there. And it's like, you can't shy away from that.
And you already feel accomplished.
Right.
If you go home and sit on the couch for the rest of the day and do absolutely nothing, it's like, well,
I know I did this.
I got my workout in. I did something. Yes. You know, I gave to myself. I took care of myself in this particular way. Right. So it's just like everything.
Productivity is there.
Yeah.
It's there. All right. So what is a piece of advice that you wish you would have gotten? No, let's rephrase that. What's a piece of advice that you would give to somebody who is on the fence about switching their passion, their career?
So I grew up during the time Wendy Williams used to be on the radio every day from like 2 to 6. It'd be Wendy from 2 to 6 and then the Quiet Storm.
Yep. Oh, yes.
So,
Quiet Storm.
I don't know if anyone ever used this phrase before she did, but the first time I ever heard it was like F you money. And she emphasized the importance of having your FU money. So if you're at your job and you hate your boss and you want to tell him off and quit, that's fine. If you have the savings to do that, right. You know, like you can do that if you have. So for me, I would just emphasize financial discipline and saving. Always living beneath your means and just saving everything. It's the same with the gym, like being disciplined about that. You got to be disciplined about not spending all your money, putting like 10%, 20%, 30% of your money away so that you can do other things and live a better life. Like I said, like,
no, you're absolutely right. I was the same way before I started off. Was like, I was making more money personal training after my 8 to 4. And I was like, all right, well, like, God forbid something happens, let me put money to the side so I can just start building this business that I want to do regardless. And when time presented itself, I was like, well, I got it. You know what I mean? Like I can take this leap because I am still, one, living at home, but two, I had this pot where I can just pull from because now I'm going to start this new revenue. And thank God I did, because thank God for my dad. Shout out to you, Dad, because if it wasn't for him teaching me financial discipline, then I don't think I would have had that pot ready when the time came. So no, I get that.
And there's nothing wrong with living with your parents if you can. I have a friend, my best friend's from law school, and she lived with her parents all throughout law school. When she moved out, she bought a co-op, a condo. So if you're able to leverage that time and take advantage of that time, that's the way to go.
Yep.
I couldn't. That woman, I told you my 72-hour rule, she's driving me crazy.
Girl.
But if you can do it.
I started my business in 2019. COVID hit. And yeah, I left my job. Well, sorry, I got fired from my job. In 2019, I started my business a month later. Saved that money pot. COVID hit. I still was building my revenue within that time when I want to say June, July, a whole year went by of me building my business. I was like, yeah, no, I can move out now. Yeah. And my parents were devastated. It was like, where are you going? I was like, I'm going 10 minutes down the block. Like, it's not even that big of a deal. But like, I understand that 72 hours. Like, it's like, I gotta go. But it's also, my parents were in no rush to, like, that was a blessing in itself. My parents were in no rush to be like, yeah, no, you gotta go live on your own. They were just like, do what you need to do to figure out your life and get yourself situated. So that is a blessing. And if you do have those types of parents, give them hugs. Let them know that you appreciate them.
Live it up in the basement.
Yeah, because like at the end of the day, like there are people who don't get to experience that. But if you do have that type of support, as much as they might drive you crazy, it's going to work out in the end. It's going to be to your benefit. It might not look like it right now, but it will. I promise. Do you think your 10-year-old self will be proud of you right now?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. 1,000%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, because I feel like I always exceed my capabilities. Meaning like, okay, like,
are you dying on me?
A little bit. Okay. But do you know what I mean? Like, I'm like a smart person, but I'm not the smartest person. I'm like, I feel like a little bit more than average intelligence. You know what I mean? Or I'm not like the most beautiful person. I'm cute on a good day. Certain thing, like, but like what I have going for me is that I just don't stop. Like I'll keep going and I persevere.
Yeah.
So it's not even, or even this, like, this is work. This is not talent.
How long did this take you?
How long?
Yeah, because we shot in August.
I want to say I was calculating the hours. It took me like 60 hours.
Oh, wow.
To do. But even this is not talent. This is not talent. This is like putting in the work and doing it and studying and practicing and seeking instruction, all these things. People are like, you're so talented. I'm like, if you hear people say this all the time. Like, if you knew how much work I put into it, you would know how much talent is not really a consideration.
Yes.
So, I mean, and that's like with everything that I do. It's just like, I just try to do my best and then I like give another 5%. But it's not, you know.
I think that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
You try to give your best and give it another 5%.
Yeah, but I'm not the most talented. I'm not the smartest. I'm not this. I'm not that. I just keep going for it.
She's giving us some gems today,
yeah,
ladies and gentlemen. I'm just saying. I mean, I knew this. I knew she. This is why I chose her. Let's just go with it. This is why I chose it. Okay. So, got 2 more questions for you. Who does Gabrielle want to be?
I mean, I feel like I am who I want to be right now. You know, yes, I would like to have more money. 1,000%. But like, I like who I am.
Yeah.
I like who I am. So I'm happy with that. I'm happy with the freedom that I've achieved. Like, I'm happy with the way that I live my life with my friends and the relationships that I've cultivated and maintained. So I feel like what more is there? I don't know. Like, tell me.
You satisfied?
A couple of vacations. I could go for a couple more vacations.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to be Vacation Gabby. That's who I want to be.
I like Vacation Gabby.
But in the grand scheme of things, like, I've exceeded what I thought life could be in a lot of different ways. Just like my level of contentment and happiness with what I have.
Okay.
I think that's also a big thing. So when I was in my 20s, like, I was very upset because I always wanted like that relationship. Like, I wanted to be chosen. I wanted to, you know, like, have that loving relationship. And I didn't have that at the time during my 20s. It wasn't until like much later that I experienced that. And me and like all the rest of my girlfriends, like a lot of us were experiencing the same thing during that time of like not feeling chosen. And like we kind of let that damper that whole decade. You know, like we honed in on that. But when I think about my 20s and all the things we did, like we used to ride out in Brooklyn in a bike gang at like 12 o'clock at night and go to like a rooftop party in Williamsburg. And like, you know, and then like party till the sun come up and then crash in one of my girlfriend's houses. So it's like a slumber party. And just like, these are all the things, like I was living my best life at that time. Like I don't do that now. I can't do that. This one has kids. This one got a husband. Like you can't, you know, like I'm in bed at 9:30. It's like, not.
You trying to come out? No, it is 6:30. I'm in bed. Yeah,
but at the time, it's like, oh, I'm so sad. I don't have a boyfriend. It's just like, that's one of my biggest regrets. It's like, that was such a waste of time. Like I was living my life. Yes. So now I just like focus on what I do have. And what I have is, you know, I have everything I need. Like, and it's great. I just want another vacation or two. That's
vacation. That's it. All right. Vacation, beach. Gabby.
Some more beach in my life. It's true.
Oh yeah. I was just thinking about that text message you sent me. I think something had went out in the house, and I was like, "Hey, this is what's going on." He was like, "Okay, well, I'm on vacation." I was like, "Oh,
was I?
Yeah." I was living it up. I see you when you get
back. You made it. You made it.
We'll deal with this later.
Yeah.
Final question. What song is in your current vibration?
Oh, all right. So I was listening to, I listened to a lot of gospel.
Yes.
Like all day, everyday gospel.
Yes.
Everything. Like old school gospel, Kanye Sunday service, like Pharrell's mixes, just gospel nonstop. But then even then it got to a point where like I'm kind of tired of this. So now I'm just listening to straight jazz.
Ooh.
Which is interesting.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like almost meditative.
It's very meditative.
And I'm hoping that it's unlocking things up here. I don't know. People say that about music.
It does.
See.
Jazz does that.
Especially while I'm painting.
Yes. So. It's jazz is a different type of art form where ththose high notes will actually unlock the frequency in your brain. Yes.
Really? I just made that up. I didn't know there was actual science behind it.
There's a lot of science behind it. So yes, continue to listen to the jazz.
Yeah.
Jesus will love you.
Even the gospel, it's like, you got to be careful what you put into your body and what you're eating, what you're listening to, what you're watching on TV,
what you're consuming.
Like that, what you're consuming. And that's everything. I feel like people forget about music and how like a song will get stuck in your head. So a song, if you're not aligned with the lyrics to that song, that's just, that's putting you on that frequency, and
it's just noise.
I'm not trying to be there. Yeah, I'm just trying to give myself stuff where I'm just lifted up all the time.
Keep listening to the jazz. It's gonna change it.
Jazz and gospel.
Yep. I like it. Well, Gabrielle, thank you.
You're welcome. Anytime.
Thank you for doing this. I figured, since you took your creativity, I'll add you to mine.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you. I appreciate you being not only a landlord, but also turning into a friend.
Definitely.
And I appreciate you allowing me to, steal your time.
1,000%.
But guys, thank you for watching Libation and Vibration.
I love it. I love the name. Every time you say it, I'm just like, oh, I'm so tickled.
Till next time.
Boy.
I'm glad you like the name.
It's cute. Libations and vibrations and libation.
Libation and vibration.
Yeah, I like it.
Thanks. Thanks for your approval.